One day, in this early summer of 1940, I walked, as I often did, through Times Square, looked at it, and there was a bookshop on the ground floor of the Hotel Astor, a hotel which has since been demolished, where they sold remainders. That is to say, not old books, but new books that had overprinted or hadn't sufficiently sold. And there I saw 2 volumes boxed, something called The Tale of Genji. I had never heard of this book, and my education never extended to it. I didn't know what it was. I took it down from the shelf, and I guessed from the illustration it had probably something to do with Japan. But it tempted me, and I bought it for a simple reason: 2 volumes for 49 cents. And I took this home, expecting I would probably not read it for quite a while, but I started to read it anyway. And this became literally my salvation from the newspapers, from the horrible things that were going on in the world. This was a world of fiction, is true, but it was a beautiful world, and it was something I was craving and wanted to know more about. I think that in the case of Japan, Japanese literature, I had no feeling of defense or feeling uncertain or feeling that it was a different world. I was associating with these people. I understood them. They called out to me. And this feeling persisted with Japanese literature and does to this day. Well, the rarest one I met was Nagai Kafu. Nagai Kafu was an eccentric. I met him in this way. My friend, who was the publisher of Chuo Corns, or the president who published my books, said he was going to see Kafu. Would I like to go along with him? And I could hardly say no to that. So we went to a place in Chiba-ken, and we got out of the car because the street was too narrow for a car to go through. And we went into a house which had no sign on it, nothing at all. And we went in, and we called out, and an old lady came out, and she said, come in, and we took off our shoes. We sat down. Well, as you probably know, Japanese often say, my place is dirty, or something like that. Kitanai toko desu, you know. But this place really was dirty. Clouds of dust came up. And then into the room came a most unattractive man. His front teeth were all missing. His clothes were in a state of great disarray, shall we say. And this was Nagai Kafu. And he started to talk, and it was the most beautiful Japanese I'd ever heard. And I thought, if I could talk like that, I would die happy. One way of doing it is to go over your manuscript again and again until you can find satisfaction in it. Sometimes, as in my case, in the case of Dazai Osamu, I had no trouble translating like that, but other times I've had to work. I've had to struggle to get something to sound natural, to make it sound the way human beings would say it. I try to think of a good example. Let's say in a novel, somebody, a man hears a noise in the next room, and he doesn't know what it is. He says, "Ni-san janai desu ka? Isn't it you, elder brother?" But in the West, we never say to a brother, elder brother. We never call anybody elder brother or younger brother. We call them by name. And if the text doesn't have a name, what do you do then? How do you get around that? Well, there are different ways you can do, but the first thing is you must always think in terms of this must sound natural. This is what I would say. This is the way, if I was trying to say the same thing, I would say it. And anything that sounds cute or picturesque is probably wrong. You should have something which is natural, spontaneous. This is not much of a help to you, I know, but again and again, one comes across problems of difficult things to say. I had a problem of a different time, which was in a play of Mishima. It was Ayano Tsuzumi, one of his modern no plays. He had one character who's known as, she's a dressmaker, she's known as the Madam. And there's another character in the play who's also called Madam. But we just can't do that in English. So he had to give a name to the other lady, the customer. So finally I said to Mishima, you must give me a name for this character. And he gave one. So if you look at my translation and you look at the original, you say, how did he get that? But that was one from the author himself.
I'll answer my own question for you. Actually, you did, I think, with some others of your generation, introduce Japanese literature to the world in such a way that it became part of world literature. It's no longer exotic. It's all over the world now. I mean, it's in the bookstores, and without those translations of everything from the earlier works to the modern ones, that was important to have the whole span. Is there anything that you wish you had done differently, or wish you had done that you didn't?
I shouldn't sound self-satisfied.
Go ahead.
But I think I did what I could when I could. The one good thing that has been very precious to me is that I've had many letters from people I don't know saying that my decision has given them courage. I'm not worthy of that, but to give anybody courage is a good thing. And so I'm very happy I've done that.
Well, I'd like to say